Hello everyone, my name is Namo Kim. I'm the migration agent for Seoul Edu and Migration. Today, I'm talking about the nursing study and then pathway to the permanent resident through the nursing study. The study nursing is one of the most popular study option for the students who are looking for the permanent resident option in Australia. Then there are many students who study nursing course in Australia, and also there are many students who get the permanent residency through our service. So today, we will focus on their frequent questions, and then I give you the answers about the question, then you may understand more about the nursing study. Okay, let's start. So many students a bit worried about their English requirement to get into the nursing study, but there are some pathway options for the students. So they can go through the EAP course and direct entry program course, as well as there are some diploma courses in nursing. Of course, diploma of nursing at the TAFE, they still require the same English requirement as a bachelor degree. However, there are some universities, they have the diploma of healthcare or diploma of health science. They also still can get into the Bachelor of Nursing without higher points. So there are some pathway options for you. So if you couldn't meet the English requirement to get into the bachelor degree directly, so you always contact us, then our education team will provide you some the English pathway option to get into the nursing course. There are many different types of nursing courses in Australia. So we see that some of our students already have a nursing background, then they can get into the nursing course, and then they also can get the credit transfer, so they can minimize the study duration. However, more students who are looking for a nursing study, they don't have the nursing background. But Australia nursing program, there are many, as I already mentioned, there are few different options for the nursing study. And then, even though you don't have any nursing background, there are some options that you can study nursing. For example, the bachelor degree, then there are two different bachelor degrees. The one in the bachelor degree for 3 years that you don't require the nursing background at all. And then there are also the Bachelor of Nursing graduate entry program. They also don't require any nursing background, but they require you to have at least a bachelor degree in your home country. So most of the nursing programs, they don't require you to have the nursing background. So you learn everything about nursing in Australia, and then you can become a registered nurse by completing this course. These days, we are getting more inquiry about the Master of Nursing. So usually before the COVID, we couldn't find any master course that giving the registration in Australia. There are few options, but it is hard to get into those courses. But recently, QUT and some universities start to offer the Master of Nursing. And then even Master of Nursing, they don't require you to have the relevant background in your bachelor degree. So which means if you don't have any background, but if you have a bachelor degree in your home country or whatever country, then you have two different options. First one, Bachelor of Nursing graduate entry, which is 2 years. And the other option, Master of Nursing, which is also 2 years program. Of course, if you don't have a bachelor degree, you have also Bachelor of Nursing for 3-year program, and you have a diploma plus a Bachelor of Nursing, the package program as well. But many people also ask us about how it is different, graduate entry program and master program. Both are actually 2 years program, but there are significant differences after you complete those courses. In terms of the outcome that you can become a registered nurse, that's the same. However, if you complete the Master of Nursing, then you will have a 3 years graduate visa opportunity. At this stage, Australia providing many opportunities to getting the PR for the nursing graduate. So you don't really need to worry about the 2 years graduate visa from your bachelor or other program. However, if the competition becomes strong and it becomes a bit hard to get a PR, your graduate visa duration is very important. So in terms of that, Master of Nursing provides you 3 years graduate visa opportunity. So that's why it will give you a huge opportunity. You get the PR in Australia. And also, interestingly, even QUT, they provide the 2 years graduate entry program and the 2 years master program. But the Master of Nursing, it has a cheaper tuition fee at this stage. So yeah, if you are considering about the study in Australia, and master program will be the best option for you if you already have a bachelor degree, but doesn't require the relevant background. Even though you study any other field in Australia, studying regional area give you more opportunity, of course. So for example, so when you preparing the skilled visa later on, the regional area studying give you the extra 5 points that you can have a higher point than your the competitors who study in the big city. And also, in terms of the graduation visa opportunity, so if you complete your study in the regional area, and then if you stay in regional area during your first graduate visa, you can have a chance to extend your graduation visa in Australia as well. And lastly, the regional area basically doesn't have many students compared to the big city. So that's why there are more opportunity to getting a job as a registered nurse in regional area. So one of our clients who complete their study in the Brisbane, for example, they also moved to the regional area to get a registered nurse job because there are more opportunities and demand as a registered nurse in the regional area. So in terms of the migration point and then graduate visa duration and job opportunity, I believe regional area will give you more benefit to getting the PR later on in Australia. If you watched this video in 2023, then you may already know that most of nursing graduates, they get a invitation to apply the PR if they already registered and they already passed the skill assess with the minimum score. So even though from my client, even they don't have an IHS 7 each, but they still get the invitation for the 190 visa. It's quite interesting. But for the nursing, with the minimum point 65, they all get the invitation at this stage. But we don't know this gonna be continuously invited. But the most important thing, nursing is demanding occupation in Australia. So compared to the other occupation, the invitation point for the nursing is always lower than others. So if you are not very strong about the English, but you can reach the at least 7.0 to get the registration, I think studying nursing is the most effective and efficient way to get into the permanent residency in Australia. Recently, I'm handling many cases to apply the permanent residence in Australia as a registered nurse, and then I could see that their salary because they have to provide the job contract and payslip to claim their point. That it depends on the position and it depends on the area, but mostly recently what I see is the basic salary is about the 65K, which is higher than other occupation as a graduate. So the salary level as a registered nurse in Australia is quite high, and then I see some casual worker, and then their salary is much higher because they don't have any because it is including the loading, but it based on the shift, like a night shift and then the evening shift, the salary become much higher than other occupations. So I think in terms of the salary level, nurse getting more salary than others. Of course, the job is quite tough as well. And the one last thing that I want to emphasize for the students or who preparing the study nursing in Australia. So for the nurse, the important thing is the two things that you prepare the permanent resident. First thing, English is really important because the students who recently graduate who cannot get an invitation for the PR, there is only one reason. Because of the English, they cannot register in Australia. So before you completing your course, I mean around the 6 weeks before the graduation, you can start registration process through the AFRA. So then the English requirement to get into the registered nurse is IELTS 7H or PT65, and then you can combine to listen English test as well. So, but if you don't have that one, your registration gonna be keep delayed, means you cannot work as a registered nurse. So that's why during your study, I believe most of nursing students has a really good English skill. But the important thing is you have to present the physical English test outcome to get the registration. So please keep in mind during your study, your English test is compulsory to get the registration. So please be ready before you graduate, not after graduation. So English test outcome is very important to be a registered nurse in Australia. And the other thing that many of students who studying nursing still working at the cafe as a barista because they are they already worked as a barista for long, and then they suddenly study nursing to get a PR. But that's not a good idea, because if the competition becomes strong to get the PR, of course, all the state or government will look into how many experience you have. But for the nurse, recently we see the many graduates getting the registered nurse straight away. But previously, if you work as an AIM during your study, they have more chance to get into the registered nurse straight away. So that's why during your study, if you work as an AIN, it will give you more opportunity to promote to the registered nurse once you get the registration in Australia. So if you become a registered nurse, all your work experience can claim later on. So it's very important you to be ready to get the registered nurse. Then during your study, if you have a chance, please work as an AIN. Then it will give you more opportunity, definitely. So I emphasize two things: English score. Your English skill is very good, but the most important thing, you have to present physical outcome letter from your English test. And second thing, if possible, during your study, please try to get a job as an AIN. And if you meet the both requirement, I'm truly believe you will have a permanent residence in the near future soon. Yeah, this is the end of my video today. So if you think this is useful, please subscribe our channel and click the like for this video. I really enjoyed the time. I hope you get some more information with us. Thank you.